Hello, this is Cormano Schmidt.
Morning, Court. It's Sara. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just wanted to make sure I was on the right call.
Me too. I appreciate it.
Good morning, Court. Sara. This is Jeremy Mose.
Good morning. Jeremy, thank you for all that information.
Oh, yeah, no problem, sir. I'm going to look into how we actually obtain those properties, and give me a little bit of time. Once I get that this week or next week, I'll send that over to you. That's a good research project for me anyways, to see actually how the county became in possession of those water plants.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. And I think, we can try to work on something more and see what else we can do with the water.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know we inherited all that stuff from the sanitary district, but I want to dig a little bit deeper into that and actually see how the sanitary district came in control of a lot of that stuff. So I'm going to look through our records and see what I can find. Now,
awesome.
I'll send you everything that I find.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. We have a roll call of commissioners present on the line.
Court Meinelschmidt's here.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Randy Wagner's here.
Randy. Who else?
Wayne Kiefer here.
Thank you, Wayne. Terry, are you out there? Commissioner Baker? Krista, are you on the line?
I'm here.
Thank you, Krista. Good morning.
You're welcome. Good morning.
Thank you. Kirk Downey, are you on the line?
I'm here. Good morning, everyone.
Okay.
Just a reminder, if you're having problems, you may need to hit *6 to unmute yourself.
Okay. All right, we're waiting on Terry to check in, folks. Terry, are you with us yet?
Commissioner Klein, you have me?
Hey, good morning. Now we got you. Hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. We just had our roll call. I'd like to have comments from our commissioners. Reports and comments. Vice President Baker, would you begin?
Yes, I'd like to start off with the passing of Marge Peters. My condolences go out to Marge and her family. She served many terms on our Rural Heritage Museum, and she was just a sweetheart, a very, very mild-mannered lady that loved Washington County and loved that Rural Heritage Museum. So my heart goes out to her and her family. We also reviewed our POS presentations with the rec board, and Mr. Eshelman, he'll be in, I guess, at a later time to make the presentations as the board approved. So we'll be waiting on his presentation on the POS presentations. And third, I'd just like to thank our county staff, all of our essential employees. Well, all of our employees are essential, but all of our employees for hanging in there, bearing with us through these difficult times, and just to let them know that we'll all be returning to normal hopefully soon. So that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Commissioner Kiefer, any reports or comments?
Just two quick items. I'd also like to thank our county employees. Have had numerous questions over the last few weeks and from citizens, and as I reach out to our county staff to help get those answers or provide some guidance, whether they're working from home, in the office, or on location, they're just as responsive as ever. So thank you for that. Second comment, just kind of an observation. I've had some need, as I'm sure we've all had, to go out from time to time, the grocery store, hardware store, wherever it may be, and just to see our citizens and people practicing that social distancing, being careful. I think that shows that we as a community are going to be very responsible when that time comes, hopefully sooner rather than later, for us to reopen. Whether it's hopefully under a regional approach if need be, but I think our citizens are being very responsible and respectful, and I think we're going to do just fine. So that's very encouraging to see. That's all I have.
Thank you, Wayne. Commissioner Meinelschmidt? Court, any comments?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, first I'd like to just agree with Commissioner Kiefer there that we need to do a regional approach. I know we asked the governor, 2 weeks ago, to look into a regional approach. I think that we should take some leadership in this. I think that starting next week's meeting, we can have an in-person meeting, and we can still have the responsibilities of separating ourselves out so that we have safe social distancing, but showing the citizens that if we're asking the businesses to come up with plans and the business leadership to come up with plans so we can slowly open the economy here in Washington County, I think we need to lead by example and do the same thing. At the same time, I think we need to become a little bit more proactive in getting this regional approach open. The businesses are trying to figure out what they can do, what needs to be done. I was on a call last week with the Lieutenant Governor with NFIB, which is the National Federation of Independent Businesses, and they're kind of looking for leadership, saying, you know, they understand that every business is different and they cannot have a broad paintbrush approach to saying this is what the regulations are going to be. They're going to give more of guidelines, and each individual business and area is going to have to come up with what's going to be acceptable to them. So I think we need to come up with a plan sooner than later, get it out to the businesses so that they can prepare and know what they need to do. You know, and I really want to start pushing that. And so hopefully next week we can meet in person with good social distancing guidelines and good rules and regulations. So thank you.
Commissioner Wagner?
Good morning. First of all, I want to say that the Salute to Heroes event went off very nice. I got to chat a couple minutes with the Long Meadow Fire Department, and I know it was a pretty good turnout throughout the county. So that was pretty nice. We had our first Zoom meeting with Planning Commission, which went pretty well, thanks to Megan, Jill, and all the employees, and Clint, our chair, and all the members for pulling that off. It went pretty flawless for the most part. So I try to participate in all the calls pertaining to COVID-19 with EOC, Meredith, Earl's call every 3 times a week. And so I'm trying to keep a really good pulse on this. And I do agree, and I do support an opening up process, and hopefully the governor may talk about that probably today. I do agree with it, with a cautious and stabilized approach to this under the guidance of the health department and our emergency services EOC. So I think that would be a good thing. We just, you know, like Wayne had said, I see most of the citizens being very cooperative with the guidelines. But again, as long as it's stabilized and approached with caution and common sense is probably the word I like the best, and I'm on board for sure. But that's all I got there, Jeff.
Thank you, Randy. I too want to share my sympathies to Marge Peters' family. We lost her husband, Ken, back in 2017, and both were instrumental in the progression of the World Heritage Museum with the Living Village and the museum items that are there. Very close to her since I was on that committee, and I just want to commend her and her husband for all the years of dedication to that as volunteers to that project down there. If you walk through the World Heritage Village, you can't just think of Marge and Ken. The other thing I want to bring up, our EOC has been actively working with community partners on to reopen our businesses. And right now in my hands, I have a 14-page document titled Together We Rise. And it's a back to business toolkit. So there's information on there, the state reopening guidelines, set up and get prepared, update your policies. So as this document is finished and finally prepared and the commissioners review it, it'll be released. But I want to commend the EOC, the county delegation, the chamber, Greater Hagerstown, all the community partners that have been putting input in. It's gratifying to hear that so many people are working together to get our businesses up and running. That will conclude my report, and I'd like to go next to reports from county staff. Anybody out there with a report? Identify yourself in the topic.
Yes, this is Andrew Eshwin, Director of Public Works. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay. I wanted to respond. Last week, Commissioner Montelschmidt brought up the topic of making preparations for rec camp and programming and things that the county offers, as well as other private entities. And so we are seeking out alternate locations where we may be able to host those camps. We're planning for smaller group sizes and trying to work through any accommodations that may be needed for that to happen. Up until this point, the clearance hasn't been issued at the state level for those programs to be offered, but we are preparing for different scenarios for where it may be possible. I also add, as you know, last week, Governor Hogan loosened some outdoor restrictions for activities and did leave the decision to do the same up to the local governments. If you look at the order, it said that we may reopen after consulting with the local health official. So I don't want to speak on behalf of the local health official, but generally those conversations have been the health position would side with the Center for Disease Control recommendation. This may be a more cautious approach than what the state allows. And so I do think moving forward, and as a director that oversees park and recreation amenities, it would be helpful for some guidance. I heard some opinions from Commissioner Meinelschmidt and Wagner and Kiefer about a desire to reopen some things and get back to normal. So as far as what that means for us, we are making plans to accommodate whatever activities are allowed, and that may require some staffing as well. So as far as if we're going to mirror what the state allows us to do or follow health official recommendations, or potentially forge ahead with plans for a regional approach that also has been mentioned, we're planning through those scenarios. But that's kind of our interpretation of where things are with this latest order. And I kind of anticipate potentially more of the same happening on the park and recreation side as restrictions be lifted.
Yeah, Andrew, I have a question. In our email about the parks and stuff, you were talking about, did we bring back our elderly part-time employees? And that brings up issues how often we would have to sanitize bathrooms if we completely open. Is there rules on that you know, or something you're anticipating of implementing?
Yes, we do have a plan. So currently with the latest order that I referenced, Governor Hogan did loosen some restrictions. So the golf course is now reopened. We had staffing on board and a plan in place to manage that with social distancing and additional cleaning efforts. So that's more straightforward. We have tennis courts are reopened. All of our open space areas never really closed. But once we get more into activities that promote or are possible for gathering locations such as playgrounds, dog parks, pavilions, presently what the order stated is for dog parks and playgrounds. It's a local decision in consultation with the health department. So more or less, we have a plan in place. Our staff is seasonal part-time. They are mostly elderly, and so we haven't brought them on yet because we didn't want to do so prior to knowing when these things would be back up and running. But that staff would be the ones that would help with the monitoring of activities in the park, the cleaning and disinfectant of facilities. So currently, what I had mentioned is what we have open, and then as things are loosened, we would look to open up pavilions or bathrooms as the guidance allows. And so bringing those people back on is certainly, I think, a best practice that we would need to take in order to accommodate additional activities that would be occurring. So I think we're able to accommodate whatever the desire is. And like I said, seeking for some direction as far as where does the county want to be in supporting and providing some of these services to the citizens, with the understanding that there is a health risk associated with offering activities.
All right, thank you, Andrew. I took a ride to about 4 or 5 our parks to view that, and I saw most people abiding by all the rules. I did see a couple of kids on some playground equipment. But thank you for your report. Commissioners, any other questions?
This is Commissioner Meinelschmidt. I agree. I think we need to take a step and let the camps know a date that they can open with even the pools and things like that. Because, you know, I just got an email from Antietam Recreation, and they're a very large camp that we have, but they need to train their staff for canoeing and kayaking. And if the parents aren't going to be signing up, they're not gonna be registering their kids to camps if they don't know if they're gonna open. And then at that point, if we don't know if the parents are going, then parents can't go to work if they don't have a place for the kids to go. And at the same time, the staff that they're hiring, they're not getting hired because the camps aren't gonna hire them unless we know we're opening. I think we need to give direction. I think June 15th, that's the first Monday after school is closed, is a great day to say, hey, this is our target for opening. And I went out and reached out to all the camps, and including our county camps, YMCA and HCC. Everybody is willing to come up with a plan specific to their camp, their facility, on cleaning, social distancing, what needs to be done, but they're looking for us for direction on what they should do. I would love to come out and say that, our goal is to have the camps open in Washington County on June 15th.
Commissioner Minor-Smith, this is Kirk. I can tell you that those issues are being discussed in the EOC as part of the recovery plan. Obviously, MDH has yet to provide guidance as to what the guidelines are going to be for youth camps, but we are aware of the need for those programs, and that is something we're looking at.
Well, when I was on the call, we do have interim guidance from the governor's office on planning for COVID-19 for youth camps in Maryland, and I sent that along. But I think we need to take a more proactive approach on this and not sit back and wait, because then we're never going to get a step forward.
This is Andrew again. I will say I have received that guidance. Our staff has that guidance, and that's what we're working off as a framework. I think the bigger uncertainty, which is going to be at the state level, currently outdoor activities and I think gatherings in general are capped at a number of 10. So as we work through our different stages, what is the cap size on groups in order to make it feasible? So it is a moving target, and we're preparing for a number of different scenarios, but certainly we're not going to, I think, anticipate having, 85 kids being able to gather at one location. We're looking at smaller sizes. So the question is, if this is important countywide, we will continue to plan for this. And as circumstances allow, maybe they are smaller group sizes. It may be more costly for us to offer that service than would otherwise be happening. But if it's that much of a benefit to the community to do, we'll continue to make preparations. But we will try to do as much as we can. But yes, as you pointed out, there's a lead time that happens with all of this to be able to bring and hire employees on to run these programs. And so we want to do as much preparation as we can for potentially offering some of these things if available.
Andrew, my one question is, how will any of these opening conditions mirror how schools open? And so, will they have some similar guidelines that we can use?
Schools are somewhat unto themselves as far as the decision on whether or not their facility will reopen. I think it's too soon, and we've been in conversation with them as far as what that will look like. Obviously, they've canceled school for the remainder of this year. I think it's still up in the air as far as when they would return. As far as if those school facilities, which we do use for recreational purposes, would be open and available to the county, no decision has been made. So that's where we're looking at alternate locations. So I think the school is working on their own plan, what that may look like. I know we've been talking with their athletic director as well, because we have a lot of rec activities and sports programming that is kind of a crossover. So if they make a decision, I know some states have made a decision, I believe Pennsylvania, where no activities may happen until July 1st. I don't know if Maryland has made a firm commitment when sports activities or things may resume. So we are in conversation with them, and we will see if we're able to offer some of those leagues or activities and trying to find alternate locations to do that if school facilities remain closed.
Okay, well, that's enough on that. Any other questions? Like to move on to any other county staff?
This is Leslie Hart. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Leslie, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have 3 things this morning that I am seeking from you. One of them is I am working on a sizable USDA grant for $500,000. It will not be managed by us internally with the county government. It will actually be managed by Community Action Council. But I am seeking from you a letter of support to go along with this grant. The grant has multiple objectives. The first is create a 2 to 5 acre community garden that will grow primarily vegetables, and then fruits will be introduced over the next 1 to 5 years. The second objective of the grant is to create a nonprofit grocery store, and a lot of these fruits and vegetables from the community garden will be sold in that grocery store. And then the third piece to the grant is the logistics and transportation necessary to reach the municipalities and our senior communities and our people out in the county-wide area. The partners of the grant include Community Action Council, Goodwill Horizon. The City of Hagerstown has offered a letter of support. The Washington County Food Council. Collaborating will be Meritus Medical, VFF Mobile Food Market, and the Commission on Aging are all partners and or collaborators on this grant. So again, all that I am seeking from you is a letter of support to be attached to the grant, and I can certainly, if you approve that, I can certainly forward all those details to Krista, the clerk.
Leslie, I have no opposition there. Could you just email us some more information on it, and I'm sure we get. When's the deadline for you want us to have a letter? Do you have a time frame?
I do. The end of the month is the date for the grant submission. We have set a date internally with our group of the 19th so that we can have everything kind of like 1 full week to finally review all the documents before we submit it. But I'm happy.
Leslie, go ahead.
I'm happy
well,
to forward that details.
Well, Leslie, Commissioners, you okay getting some of the information forwarded, and then next week maybe a consensus or writing the letter? Is that okay, or anybody have any comments? Okay, Leslie, what next?
Okay, and I just have 2 additional really good news things for you. So on May the 5th, our local Washington County Farm Bureau gave away 2,165 gallons of free milk. Matt Schnebley, the president of the Farm Bureau, had a vision to help dairy farmers and to help our community simultaneously, and the free milk giveaway was a huge success. The Valley Mall was instrumental in giving us a location, and we had basically a drive-through. You drove through in your car, and you picked up a gallon of milk, and you kept right on going. It was such a huge success. The Farm Bureau will be doing another free milk giveaway, and thanks to Andrew Eshelman, we will be hosting that off of Franklin Street in the transit transfer station on Franklin Street. We will actually be located in our county parking lot, and we will be giving again a 1 gallon of free milk to every car and or person that attends, and the hours will be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or until the milk is gone. So I just wanted to let you know that this is a great effort by our Washington County Farm Bureau. They pull their board of directors and their members together to do this event, and this will be our second that the Farm Bureau has done in the community, and we hope to do several more. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Leslie.
You're
next,
welcome.
Thank you. Any other county staff? Identify yourself.
Hey, Jeff, this is Danielle Weaver.
Hey, Danielle.
I just wanted to speak to Court and your what you spoke about with the business recovery plan and the overall recovery plan for the county. We've been working very hard on getting that information together, And we should actually see something go out. We're going to send out a one-sheeter at some point today for the business community to be using. So you can look for that to come out. I believe that you're going to have that come across your desk here shortly.
Yeah,
So
Danielle,
just
that
wanted to
one,
let you guys know that.
Danielle, that one pager has been something that's been worked on in conjunction with the booklet that I announced. So meaning staff, EOC, and partners have been working on this for a while, correct?
That's correct, yes. We
Okay.
met
And-
about this morning.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. All
You're welcome.
right. Any other comments, Danielle?
No, that's all I had. I just wanted to let you guys know that.
Thank you. Any other county staff? Any other county staff on the line? Introduce yourself.
Jeff, this is Kirk. I just wanted to let the commissioners know that the county just received word that the court granted the county's motion to dismiss in the Marley lawsuit concerning the Fort Ritchie matter.
By meaning dismissed, what do you mean?
They granted the county's motion to dismiss the complaint.
Okay.
So they found in favor of the county.
All right. Okay. Any other details or any other reports, Kirk?
Kirk, quick question with that. So when would the earliest possible closing date be?
That's going to depend on what the title insurer for the prospective purchaser is willing to do. There's an appeal period, generally 30 days, that the plaintiff would have to appeal. To be so close.
Okay. Thank you for that information. That's great news.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Kirk. Krista Hart, do you have anything? Krista?
I do not. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any other county staff going once, going twice? Hearing none, I'd like to go to our next agenda item, Antietam Farms LLC. Chris Boggs.
Good morning,
Introduce yourself
commissioners.
in the matter. Thank you.
This is you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the Antietam Farms Rural Legacy Project. It is located on Roarsville Road in Roarsville. It doesn't have an address associated with it. It's right off of Locust Grove and along Roarsville. It's a long, narrow parcel. 61.31 acres. And it is also a front end of the property is bisected by Little Antietam Creek. So it serves to help protect that as well. This is very near, it's not contiguous, but it's very close to a lot of permanently preserved land. So it could help, create the larger block just by being nearby. And we could fill in between in the future. There are 5 development rights associated with this parcel that will be extinguished. There are no dwellings on the property. However, there is the, I guess you would call them the ruins or the foundation of an old house that was there at one time. So that was, I didn't know that until I actually went and did the site visit out there. So technically there is a space for to consider it an existing dwelling, even though it's just the ruins. Additionally, this will be the 7,268th acre approved by the commissioners. So again, we've got over 7,000 acres near the battlefield in the rural legacy area. This is part of our FY20 grant, 1.502 million. And the state pays for everything. So, there's the fiscal impact is there's nothing coming out of the county coffers. And further, we get the 3% of the easement value for admin costs and 1.5% for compliance and monitoring costs. So, the Rural Legacy Board approves our program, and if Washington County rejects this easement, the funds will be allocated to another county in the state. Recommended motion is to approve the Antietam Farms Rural Legacy Easement Project for $180,930 over 61.31 easement acres. Are there any questions?
Commissioners, any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to, go ahead.
Yeah, Randy, a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
This is Wayne.
Okay, is that a second? Okay, I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor to approve Antietam Farms? Everybody say aye by name. Aye, Jeff.
Aye, Court Schmidt.
Terry, aye.
Wayne, aye.
Randy, aye.
All right, thank you. Chris, how many acres? Thank you, motion approved. How many acres do we have?
Well, we are over 34,300 now. Actually, we're once these easements that you've approved to go through, we'll be well over the 35,000 mark. So we're inching our way toward that 50,000 acre goal.
That was my next question. Thank you for your efforts on that.
Yep, sure thing. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you. Next agenda item, Emergency Management Performance Grant, Tom Brown and Allison. Please introduce yourself in the matter.
Good morning, Tom Brown, Emergency Manager.
Good morning.
And Allison Hartshorn, Grant Manager.
We moved to accept funding awarded by the Maryland Emergency Management Agency in the amount of $102,933.97. Purpose of the Emergency Management Performance Grant Programs to provide federal funds to states, to assist state, local, tribal, and territorial emergency management agencies to obtain the resources required to support the national preparedness goals associated within specific areas and core capabilities. Performance period for this federal grant is October 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2021. There's a 100% match requirement associated with the grant, which is covered by the Emergency Services operating budget. This funding provides for emergency services related expenses, which may otherwise be added to the emergency services budget. The matching funds will be in the form of budgeted salaries, which is subject to approval in the county's operating budget for fiscal year 21.
Commissioners, any comments? Any motions?
This is Court Schmidt. I move that we accept the funding as awarded.
We have a first. Is there a second?
This is Terry, second.
Thank you. I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye by name.
Wayne, aye.
Jeff, aye.
Court Schmidt, aye.
Terry, aye.
Randy, aye.
All right, 5-0. Thank you very much. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next agenda item, bid award, 3 roll-up security grills. I believe that's Rick Curry and Terry Hill and Craig Rowe. Please introduce yourself in the matter.
Good morning, Major Craig Rowe here.
Major, good morning. Anyone else presenting with you?
Well, I thought Rick Curry would be, but we can move forward.
If you're okay with moving forward, please do.
Sure, that's fine. We move to award a bid for the purchase and installation of 3 roll-up security grills to the responsive bidder, Interstate Garage Doors Incorporated of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, who submitted the total sum bid in the amount of $66,540. On March the 18th, 2020, the county received 2 bids for the roll-up security grills. The invitation for bid was published in the local newspaper, listed on the State of Maryland's Maryland Advantage Marketplace website, and on the county's website. 38 persons or companies registered, downloaded the bid document online. Detention center security grills need to be replaced. The current grills are 18 years old. Securing the facilities is important in keeping those who need to be kept in and those who need to be kept out. The project is to be completed in 120 consecutive calendar day period. There are liquidated damages in the sum of $150 per consecutive day calendar that the project is not completed.
Okay. Commissioners, any comments or questions?
Jeff, I motion to approve this, Randy Wagner.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
This is Wayne Kiefer. I second the motion.
Thank you, Wayne. I have a first and a second. Is there any other discussion, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, vote aye by name.
Carrie, aye.
Thank you.
Wayne, aye.
Corminal Schmidt, aye.
Court, aye.
Randy, aye.
5-0. Thank you, Major.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next agenda item, sole source procurement. Rick Curry, Terry Hill, Craig Rowe. Welcome back.
Hello, this is Rick Curry, Director of Purchasing. I'd like to apologize for the recent this issue I had with trying to get on, but I am on the line.
That's okay. Thank you for acknowledging that. You may proceed.
Okay, the subject for you is sole source procurement PUR 1472, food pass-through doors for the Washington County Detention Center. Recommendation: move to authorize a sole source procurement for 118 food pass-through doors assembly for the Washington County Detention Center in an amount of $92,040 from Craftmaster Hardware of North Bell, New Jersey, based on a quote dated March 6th. The purchase department received a request from the Washington County Detention Center regarding procurement for food pass-through doors assemblies. Washington County Detention Center wishes to apply sections 1-106.2A, 1 and 2 Code of Public Laws, Washington County, to procurement requests. Section authorizes permission when only one source meets the county's existing requirements and also the compatibility of equipment. The request requires 4 of the 5 commissioners in order to proceed with the sole source procurement. If approved, the following remaining steps of the process will occur as outlined by law. Not more than 10 days after the execution and approval of the contract under this section, the procurement agency shall publish notice in the ward of newspaper and general circulation in the county. An appropriate record of the sole source procurement shall be maintained as required. Fiscal impact: there's $405,512 available in the capital outlay account BDL 089. We have concurrence from the sheriff, and also you have is the quote from Craftmaster Hardware dated March 6th. Are there any questions?
Commissioners, any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
This is Corminal Schmidt. I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Terry, seconds.
Okay, I have a first and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor say aye by name. Jeff Klein, aye.
Wayne Kiefer, aye.
Corminal Schmidt, aye.
Randy?
Randy, aye.
All right, 5-0. Thank you, Rick Curry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Next
Commissioners.
up, thank you. You're welcome. Next up, bid award ground maintenance, Brandy Noggle and George Schweitzer, Black Rock Golf Course.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sorry,
Go ahead.
sorry, Deb.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Randy Noggle, buyer in the purchasing office, and I think George is calling in. I'm not positive on that.
That's okay. You're welcome to proceed. He can join.
Okay, so the recommendation I have for you this morning is the bid award PUR 1464, and I'd like to apologize because there's a typo on the ARF. It says 1461, but the bid is actually 1464 for grounds maintenance chemicals. Move to award the contract to the responsible companies with the responsive lowest bid that met the spec for each chemical. There were tie bids that came in for 5 of the items 13, 20, 27, 28, and 32. Therefore, it is required that these chemicals be awarded based upon a drawing and pursuant with Section 2.9 of the Washington County Procurement Policy. The county did accept bids on April 29th of 2020. The invitation to bid was advertised in the State of Maryland's e-Maryland Marketplace website, the county's webpage, and the local newspaper. 15 companies downloaded the document, and we did receive 5 bids. The contract provides chemicals needed at the Black Rock Golf Course, the County Highway Department, the Department of Water Quality, and the City of Hagerstown may utilize this contract. The contract term is for a period of 1 year, commencing July 1st, 2020, ending June 30, 2021. I have Janie Thompson here with me, our procurement technician in the office, to conduct the drawing of lots for the 5 chemicals that were tie bids. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with that. I have item number 13 first, the headway, and she's going to draw out of our lot for that one. So for item number 13 for headway, that will be recommended to be awarded to Genesis Turfgrass. We're going to move on to the next item, which is item number 20, which is Provence. And this was a 4-way tie with 4 vendors. The second one, item number 20, Provence, recommended award to Helena Agra Enterprises. The next item, number 27, the Balaton Flow. There was a tie between 2 of the vendors. Item number 27 for the Balaton Flow, recommended award to Genesis Turfgrass. Item number 28 for the Dismiss, we had a tie between 2 of the vendors. Recommended award, Site 1 Landscape. And the last one, item number 32 for the Barricade. Recommended award to Senatech for the Barricade. Again, funds are budgeted in each of the chemicals, each of the accounts for the chemicals for various departments. Again, asking for the award of the chemicals per the bid tab attached to the agenda report form and for the 5 that we drew today.
Commissioners, comments or motion?
Motion to approve the bid awards, Randy Wagner.
Okay, I have a first. Is there a second?
Wayne Kiefer, second that motion.
Thank you, gentlemen. I have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion?
This is Commissioner Monschmidt. Just a real quick question. How much did these go up compared to the previous years or down?
They were all within, just going to take a guess because I'll be honest with you, I didn't do the percentage because not much change. So I would say not more, and this is strictly a guess, so I apologize for that. I would say no more than 5 to 7%.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other discussion? I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye by name.
Aye, Court Schmidt.
Aye, Jeff Klein.
Aye, Wayne Kiefer.
Aye, Terry.
Aye, Randy.
5-0, Brandy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, FYI operating budget. Sara.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is
Jeremy.
Sara Greed, Chief Financial Officer.
And Jeremy Mose, Director, Division of Environmental Management.
We're here today to present to you the fiscal year 21 budget for the water quality funds. Prior to that presentation, I'd like to allow Jeremy a moment to respond to a comment that was made by Commissioner Baker a few weeks ago related to a Morgansville resident's sewer bill.
Good morning, Commissioners. In the early 1980s, the city of Hagerstown was responsible for the operation and maintenance of the sewer lines in Morgansville, and the sanitary district was responsible for the planning, design, and construction of the infrastructure. To help fund the construction of the infrastructure, the Morgansville area residents were charged a recurring fee. In 1988, a new agreement was negotiated between the city and the sanitary district, resulting in the sanitary district assuming the responsibility of the operations of the sewer lines from the city. Because of the change in operations, when the debt service was paid off, the sanitary district still required a fee to cover the cost of operating and maintaining the sewer lines. In 1995, the Washington County government absorbed the responsibilities of the sanitary district and its role of operations of the sewer lines in Morgansville. In 1997, a new utility rate policy was established that was based on the sewer fund budget, and one rate was established for all customers receiving collections-only services. Currently, the county is still responsible for operations and maintenance of the Morgansville sewer lines, and Hagerstown is responsible for the treatment of the wastewater. This is called the joint service area. The county must maintain a utility rate to cover the expenses of maintaining the lines. Residential sewer customers in Morgansville are billed for wastewater treatment by the city and collection services by the county. To summarize, the fee the Morgansville area residents are charged is for the operations and maintenance of the sewer lines and is not related to the amount of debt service. Do the commissioners have any questions regarding this topic?
If there are no questions, commissioners, I'd like to proceed with the water quality budget presentation. Included in the water quality fund.
Sara, I'm sorry. So he mentioned the year 1983, so that was 37 and a half years ago. Did he say how long the counties owned that facility?
The county took ownership, the Washington County government took ownership of it in 1995 when the Washington County government absorbed the responsibilities of the sanitary district.
Okay, and then the other question is, when we took responsibility, I guess, when were these rate increases and that model implemented? What year, do you know? The model that we currently follow on the raising of the water sewer rates? I
believe the model was developed close to 2000. I don't have the documents in front of me, but I know it was created by Black and Veatch.
Okay, and then so 2000, was there a ending date on these increases on the original model?
The original fee that the Morgansville residents were paying was originally related to the debt service, but then because at that time the sanitary district only had the debt service portion of responsibility. So then when the responsibility changed and created the need for the sanitary district to also have the operation and maintenance of the lines, that's kind of when no longer would that one payment for debt service suffice, because the sanitary district and subsequently the county would then have to provide operation and maintenance on the lines.
Okay.
This is Court Schmidt. A quick question. I want to make sure I understood this. So we do the maintenance on the lines, but who does the, I'll call it filtration of the sewer, the cleaning of it?
Court, that's the responsibility of the city of Hagerstown. The county's responsibility is the infrastructure. The flow of the wastewater goes to the city for treatment.
Okay. So do the individuals, the citizens of Morgansville, have to pay the city of Hagerstown plus the county for sewer?
Yes, they pay a separate fee with the city for the treatment, and they pay the county a collections-only service fee.
Okay, and so that collections-only service fee is much lower than the other county residents pay?
Yes, just because it's a one lump fee that's just for collection services. It's nothing. We're not charging anything based on flow or metering. Just
okay.
For maintaining the lines.
That's. I just want to make sure that was clear. Thank you.
Great. Commissioners, any other questions?
This is Wayne Kiefer. I have a question, if I can, following up on what Commissioner Minor-Smith had asked. So how does, if I live in Morgansville or if I live in maybe Williamsport, where my bill is structured a little differently, just because of, Hagerstown, Washington County getting a portion of the Morgansville, how does the overall rate fare? If I'm consuming the same amount of water or disposing of the same amount of waste, am I paying the same on my bill?
No, you would not be paying the same, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, because the Morgansville residents who are paying collection only, don't pay the county's rates for the treatment. So they only pay for the collection, whereas a full-service customer would pay for the treatment as well.
Yes, that is correct, Sarah.
But, I'm right, whether I write one check or two checks out, my total cost for sewer, am I paying more if I live in Morgansville versus if I live in another Williamsport, for example? Regardless, I write my check out.
I'd have to see what the Hagerstown's rates were, because they're paying Hagerstown's treatment rate plus the collections fee from us.
Right, there would probably be a differential because of the two separate agencies. I think that at some point, every customer would be paying collection and every customer would be paying treatment for their service, regardless of where they live or who they're paying to.
Is that information you can bring back next week or the next time we meet next week, I guess, as to, what, for a typical amount of gallons disposed of, what would I pay if I lived in Morgansville versus what would I pay if I lived in another service area?
Well, wouldn't that depend on what the town would add on? Because as former councilman Williamsport, we would add on to the sewer cost to maintain the costs we had for our employees working on those facilities.
So
wouldn't that be a factor?
That's a great point. What am I paying overall for my cost of sewer?
It's probably cheaper in Morgansville since they're an unincorporated area where Williamsport is a charter. Please.
Thank you.
And we can provide that information to the commissioners once we can research what rates the Morgansville area residents are receiving from the city and our collection services, and give you a better idea of the overall charge they're getting.
Yeah, please do. Just a typical household in each community.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, Sarah. Jeremy, please continue.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners. Included in the Water Quality Funds, Commissioners, are the Utility Fund, the Water Fund, the Sewer Fund, and the Pretreatment Fund. Something important to keep in mind as we go through our discussion is that these funds do share employees, and therefore their wages and benefits are allocated based on a prior year, or based on a rolling average of 3 prior years. In total, if we look at all of the funds combined, it's important to note that the costs actually decreased from a total of $20.7 million in fiscal year 2020 to $18.2 million for fiscal year 21. That represents a reduction of $2.5 million. The major impact to this fund was a decrease in the debt service, primarily related to the 96A issuance, which represents approximately $2 million of that $2.5 million reduction. The remainder is derived from a staffing plan that's in place to purposefully reduce costs while maintaining service. First, I'd like to go through the utility admin budget. This budget was set in place to provide supportive services to the water and sewer operations of the Water Quality Department. Services provided include the administration, lab testing, and maintenance vehicles and utility facilities. The budget for utility admin reduced by $216,000 from $5 million down to $4.8 million, mainly as a result of the decrease in wages and benefits based on changes within the department and the 96A debt payoff. Included in this budget is the Stormwater and Watershed department. That department is budgeted at $232,000, and it is supported by the general fund, not water and sewer rates, as duties and functions of this department could be housed under the general fund, as they are in some other jurisdictions. Also included in this budget, this fund, is the Clean County Department, which is currently budgeted at $193,000, and that is supported through the Stormwater Retrofit project in an effort to meet the needs of the NPDES permit in the most efficient and effective manner. Those are the highlights from the utility admin budget. If there are no questions, I'll move on to the water fund. All right, the water fund decreased in whole by $341,000 from $1.4 million down to $1.1 million, mainly due to a decrease in the debt service that we referenced before, and a decrease in wages and benefits based on the existing staffing plan. In spite of these reductions, the fund continues to face an operational shortage of $107,000. This shortage includes the assumption of a rate increase of 3.5%, which has generated approximately $20,000 for the fund. The sewer fund also decreased by $1.5 million from a budget of $13.4 down to $11.9. Major changes continue to include the payoff of the 96A and personnel changes for the remainder amount. This budget does include as well a 3.5% rate increase, which would generate over $350,000. Despite the budgetary savings, there continues to be an unfunded budget of approximately $1.1 million in the sewer fund. We have that amount currently budgeted to fund balance and plan to use existing cash reserves to provide. However, even with the rate increase, we do expect a shortfall in fiscal year 22, which may need to be made up with a loan. At this point, we would like to use fund balance for fiscal year 21 and reassess and reevaluate and come to the commissioners when the time comes that a potential loan would be necessary. The pretreatment fund is the last fund in the water quality funds that we're going to talk about. This fund was privatized in 2006 through a long-term lease, and as a result, operational functions are no longer the responsibility of the Water Quality Department. This privatization allowed the county to maintain compliance with EPA regulations at a substantial savings. The costs in this fund include $470,000 in debt service. Lease payments are made in the amount of $345,000, and the remainder is drawn from fund balance. And at this time, I would like to allow Jeremy a moment to discuss some cost-saving measures that have been implemented out at the Water Quality Department.
Thank you, Sarah. To help improve the financial stability of the water quality funds and to realize our goal of being self-sustaining, we are taking a close look at how we operate. Operational improvements we recently made include reducing chemical and electrical costs at our treatment plants by optimizing treatment techniques, reducing the runtime of blowers, pumps, and other equipment, further saving on electrical costs, reduce laboratory fees by eliminating unnecessary testing. We're also reducing spending by ordering supplies in bulk at reduced cost and carefully reviewing every purchase. We are no longer sending reports to the state by certified mail. We submit everything electronically, saving on postage. The Department of Water Quality will continue to look for ways to improve our operational efficiency, and we will continue to do our part to make the water quality fund self-sustaining. Do the commissioners have any questions?
Yes, Jeremy, this is Court Meinl-Schmidt. Last year, about this time, when Director DeVito was there, he was talking about the labs going out and marketing and doing testing for other communities, and that he believed that could start bringing in revenue to help offset some of that. Has any of that occurred?
Not quite yet, sir. That's still on our radar, and that's still something we want to do. With the recent retirements and promotions of individuals in the laboratory, we have 2 new employees. That's going to take some time to get them up to speed and trained. But once we have a fully trained staff, that is definitely something that we're going to look into.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Jeremy, Randy Wagner.
Yes, sir.
This might be, it's a little bit of a goofy question, but I know we do it, I think we do it with vehicles and things like that. Is there a way to team up with other counties to buy in bulk at a more of a discount rate of items we need? I think we do that with vehicles. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. We go in on mutual buying agreements to get a lot more.
Vehicles. Sarah, would you go to elaborate on that if there's any possibilities of
I think it's something that we could look into, Commissioner Wagner. I'm not aware of anything right at this moment, but I think it's worth exploring to see if we could have some cost savings in that manner. I know that, obviously we can use other contracts that are out there, but I'm not sure as far as an effort to actually go in with a county, but we can look into that for sure.
Yeah, I have a
Thank you.
question for Jeremy. Jeremy,
Yes, sir.
don't we already test for the municipalities, don't we? And then do we charge them for that, or is there revenue from that, or we do that as a courtesy, or those tests being conducted?
Yes, that is a revenue for us. That's a revenue stream for testing for municipalities. Boonesboro is one of them.
Okay, thank you. Great. Sarah, Jeremy, any more to present?
That's all we have on the budget topic, sir.
Okay, commissioners, any more comments? Hearing none, we'll proceed to the next agenda item, which is a public hearing modification of water and sewer rates. Jeremy, Sara, please introduce the matter to public hearing.
Yes, sir. Jeremy Mose here again, Director of Division of Environmental Management, and I'm here with Sara Greaves, Chief Financial Officer. Welcome to the public hearing for modification of the water and sewer rates for fiscal year 21. Water and sewer revenue requirements show that an increase in water and sewer revenue is necessary to facilitate the Department of Water Quality's long-term financial plans. The presented rate schedule is based on this requirement and attached to the ARF. Starting with the sewer, the proposed rates are as follows. The base charge for residential full service, $125.90 to $130.31. Commercial 1 full service, $128.80 to $133.31. Commercial 2 and 3 full service, $131.39 to $136. Volunteer service, $126.80 to $131.23. Residential commercial collection services, $58 to $60.03. The volume charge per 1,000 gallons, residential full service, $7.29 to $7.54. Commercial 1 full service, $8.12 to $8.40. Commercial 2 full service, $9.23 to $9.55. Commercial 3 full service, $6.34 to $6.56. Volunteer service, $7.25 to $7.50. The non-metered accounts remain the same at $169.64. Wholesale customers, $7.49 to $7.75. The deduct meter fee remains the same at $25 per quarter. Continuing to water, the proposed rates are as follows. The base charge for 6,000 gallons, residential full service, $104.76 to $108.43. Commercial 1 full service, $104.76 to $108.43. Commercial 2 full service, $129.40 to $133.92. Volunteer service, $104.78 to $108.45. The volume charge per 1,000 gallon. Residential full service, $11.78 to $12.19. Commercial 1 full service, $12.05 to $12.47. Commercial 2 full service, $9.30 to $9.63. Volunteer service, $11.82 to $12.23. Non-metered accounts, $175.44 to $181.57. Also proposed in the increase is a microbiology testing from our state certified laboratory from $25 to $35, and a new proposed rush positive sample fee for $20. Using a 12,000 gallon benchmark, each 3.5% rate increase costs the average user $6 per quarter or $2 per month. The increase is necessary to sustain the operations of these funds. Based on rate model projections, rates must increase in order to get back to a self-supported status. Currently, expenditures exceed revenues by $130,000 in the water fund and by $1.4 million in the sewer fund. We have made some structural changes to help save money, and we have paid off the 96A bond and refunding bonds. which has contributed immensely to the effort in reducing our expenditures. However, we still have a serious shortfall that needs addressed. Incremental increases over a period of time was the plan from the start to get the water and sewer funds to a self-supported status. We must continue that effort as we look towards meeting our long-term financial plans. Thank you. Do the commissioners have any questions?
Yes, Jeremy, this is Court Schmidt. Did you say that the non-metered accounts are not going to go up?
Yes, sir. That is in the proposed.
That may, if I might interject, that may have been an error on the sheet that you have, Jeremy, because all accounts were planning to go up 3.5%, and I could see on the sewer document it was held flat at 0, but on the water document it did go up to 3.5%. So if I can go ahead and make a correction to the record, the non-metered account for the sewer should go from 169.64 to 175.57. Thank you.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure because if we're raising anybody rates, everyone's got to go up, and I didn't think it'd be fair to cut off somebody. So thank you for that clarification.
Sorry about that confusion. I must have had a typo on my paper.
Commissioners,
No
any other comments by the commissioners, or Mr. Downey, could you comment on how we move forward?
Sure. First of all, I just want to remind citizens, since this is a virtual hearing, given the COVID-19 situation, that they are free to communicate to the commissioners their thoughts and opinions on the proposed rates. We encourage them to do that. There is a virtual citizen submission form on the county's homepage. You can also send an email to khart@washco-md.net. That's KHART@WASHCO-MD.net, or by mail to the Board of County Commissioners of 100 West Washington Street, Suite 1101, Hagerstown, 21740. And those comments would need to be received in within 7 days, as was advertised.
By May 21st. Oh, I'm sorry. By May 19th at 11 a.m., sir.
Okay, thank
Sara,
you.
thank you. What's the average increase per quarter? I think you sent me some information on that.
Yes, I did, sir. The average increase of the 3.5% is $6 per quarter or $2 per month, sir.
Is that water and sewer combined, or is that just 60?
That is not. Generally, we have only 1,000 water customers.
Okay.
So that is not combined. We have approximately 10,000 sewer customers, sir. So more than likely, only 1,000 of our customers would face both increases. So the majority would face the $6 per quarter.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome,
Jeremy
sir.
and Sara, the increases that are proposed are the lowest possible that are necessary to satisfy the rate model and the move to sustainability. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. The 3.5% increase has been part of our rate stabilization effort that's gone on for many years. The county chose smaller, more incremental annual increases over very large increases all at once. And even based on the 3.5% increase, we are not at a point where our revenues and expenditures are meeting, and therefore the amount should not be lowered.
Hey, Sara, this is Randy. I think you just answered that. So these rate increases have been, how far back do they go that you know of? They've been every year for how long?
I don't have that with me right now, but yes, sir, the majority of the years we have had these incremental rate increases. Like I said, it has been an effort from the beginning. They knew the rates would have to go up. They felt that a smaller, more frequent increase would be more affordable to users than a large unaffordable increase in 1 year. So yes, this is part of that effort. The idea would be that once fund balance ran out, the fund would be self-sustaining. However, we're in a situation now where we are running out of fund balance. We have on the water side, we're using the last year that we feel is available on the sewer side currently, and so we need to keep up the 3.5% recommendation until we can get ourselves in a self-supported status again.
I know you don't have a crystal ball, but go ahead. I'm sorry. I know you don't have a crystal ball, but projection. Do you have a projection when this could possibly be self-sustaining?
Yes, sir, I do. Based on the rate model projections, you know, we do this tool that we use. It is a tool. It's a budgetary tool. You know, it does project future increases. It takes into consideration capital costs, our current costs, and how we expect those costs to change over time. And so it does show that with a few more years of these steady increases, we should be able to get in a self-supported status close to fiscal year 2023. Keep in mind, we're doing the budget for 21. So in fiscal year 22, we do anticipate a shortfall, which may have to be made up through a loan. And then fiscal year 23, we hope to be at a very small deficit or a net break-even point. If we do have a loan, we'll need to pay that loan back. And so part of any increase, net increase in those years would have to help provide to pay back that loan. But we hope that in a couple of short years, we will be at a self-supported status. And hopefully, we can then look to maybe reducing that rate increase in the future and not having the full 3.5%.
Thank you. Sarah, pardon the interruption. If I remember when I first came on as a commissioner, it might have been that we were pulling money out of the general fund to support the water sewer fund because of the recession. Was that the accurate? We borrowed money out of that to help us keep that solvable, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. We did that in 2010, 2011, and 2012.
Okay. All right, good. I wasn't sure how many years. Thank you.
We also gave $3 million last year to the sewer fund.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
That is correct, sir.
Okay.
This is Court Schmidt. I just had a quick question on the water fund. And first, Jeremy, I want to thank you for giving me all that information you did yesterday or before. But one of the things that I want to point out, and Jeremy, tell me, the Sharpsburg water treatment plant, it's the most expensive plant we have because it takes surface water, correct?
Yes, sir. That's because that's the surface water from the Potomac, and it's a lot more difficult and costly with technology regulations to treat than regular groundwater or spring water.
Yeah. Now, I know we've tried in the past to try to get to be able to drill and use groundwater. Do you think that we have an ability that we would be able to do that and reduce the cost on Sharpsburg's plant, and then it drastically reduce the overall water quality's budget?
Probably not right now, just because the plant just went through an upgrade, and then to absorb the capital cost of drilling a new well and essentially creating a new plant. That would probably be something that we would want to look at years down the road, but I would think right now it really wouldn't be that. It wouldn't help with the rates right now. It would probably actually increase rates just because we just did an upgrade and we actually have to go through and essentially build another treatment plant.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
This is Terry. We also have to be mindful that our citizens, everything in their life, their expenses are increasing, and I'm sure they have less and less money, especially with this COVID-19. And there's going to be a lot of families out there that may not ever rebound from this COVID-19, lose their jobs, etc. So we're going to have to be extremely mindful of that. That's just my thought.
Yes, sir, that's correct, and we will continue to do our part to do everything we can to be the most efficient we can be, to realize our financial plans.
And I know I know we just mentioned an increase of $2 a month. Well, that's $24. Everybody knows the math there. And then if you go back and then you look over the last 5-8 years, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but their water sewer rates could have easily doubled or tripled in that short period of time with just increasing the rates at $2 a month per year. To me, $24 is a lot of money for a lot of families right now. And again, everything else is going up. And I think, I don't know if it warrants the opportunity of looking at a new model or coming up with some other ideas and thoughts of trying to get these fees to where they just don't increase every year. That's just my thought.
I would like to add, commissioners, oh, excuse me, go ahead.
This is Commissioner Wayne Kiefer. Maybe my comment piggybacks off of Commissioner Baker's a little bit, and we can answer them together. Regarding the model, I've been on the commission now 4 years, and it seems like we're always 2 years away from not needing to increase rates at the same pace that we have been. Just wondering, does our model get reviewed? Is it audited? Some of the assumptions, I'm just wondering, as times change, are those assumptions that were instituted back when this model was created, are they still relevant? Do we have new assumptions we need to factor in? It's a little bothersome, and it's not directed towards anyone. Just, it seems like we're always only 2 years away from not needing to increase those rates again. I'm just wondering, is our model ever audited? When was the last time it was done? If so, what would it take to have our model looked at?
Thank you, sir, for the question. I will assure you that there are many, many assumptions included in the water and sewer rate models. The assumptions are reviewed annually by the Director of Environmental Management and certainly our staff as oversight. Those assumptions have changed over the years, and so that could be contributing to the varied leveling out of the plan that maybe was seen several years ago and is being seen now. I will say we have reduced those assumptions over the last couple years from where they were before, related to number of accounts and future anticipated revenues that we plan coming online. For instance, the current existing capacity management project that is underway, the effects of that project being completed are included as an assumption in the plan. If for some reason something would happen with that project or it would be delayed, it would significantly impact the plan. So I do think that that those assumptions have a significant impact on the results. I do think it would probably be a good idea to procure or think about procuring for an update to the water sewer rate models. They were developed many years ago, and I think that would be a good idea. We don't have that in the budget, but I think it's a good idea and something that we should think about.
Okay. Any other questions? Sarah, does that conclude your presentation? Any more comments?
Yes, sir.
Last question. This is Court Management. I just want to, so if with these rate changes, we're only adding $20,000 to the water fund, and we're adding basically $371,000 to the sewer fund. What is the deficit annual on each of those?
The annual deficit for sewer is close to 1.4 million, so that 370,000 reduces that to about 1.1 million. And then the deficit on the sewer is about 130,000, and that 20,000 amount reduces that to closer to 110,000.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Sarah, given the fact that we,
go ahead.
The fact that we have to leave the fact that we're leaving the record open to allow for citizen comment, do you want to talk about the schedule and what this means in light of the budget hearing?
Yes, I can. As you are aware, Commissioners, we have our annual budget hearing on Thursday scheduled for 6 p.m. We also have a 7-day comment period following that presentation as well. These rates have been included in that budget. So why they tie in is because certainly if the rate increases do not move forward, it will impact the general fund budget. I'd like to take a moment to talk just about, water quality funds should be self-supporting, and they should be provided for by the ratepayers, not all taxpayers. And so as we think about that moving forward, the budget that you will hear on Thursday does incorporate the assumptions of the 3.5% projected rate increase moving forward. And so if for some reason it would not, it would have an impact on the general fund budget as well. And this public comment period, like County Administrator Downey said, is open until May 19th at 11 a.m. The budget hearing on the 14th will have a comment period open until May 21st at 6 p.m. And then the next time the commissioners meet would be Tuesday, May 26th.
Now, another quick question, I apologize. I'm looking through the schedule, and we have $1,000 per sewer EDU. When was the last time the EDU fee went up?
I don't know. I'll have to research that and get back to you, sir.
And how much does that EDU fee does the county receive on an average annual basis?
Jeremy, do you know the answer to that, or do we need to get back to Commissioner
We'll have
Marshall?
to get back to the commissioners with that one.
Okay. Is that okay if we get back to you, sir? We can make a staff comment at the next meeting?
Definitely. I just, if we're looking at raising the rates on every payer, I think that, that's something that has not been raised, and it's a decent amount of revenue that the county receives. It's something, if we're asking everybody to do, we should also be asking our builders to contribute also.
Thank you, sir, for that comment. We will look into that.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right, Sarah, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, next, I need a motion to go into closed session for reasons stated.
It's Court Minor Schmidt. I make the motion to go into closed session.
Is there a second?
Second that, Randy Wagner.
Okay, all in favor, say aye by name.
Aye, Court Minor Schmidt.
Aye, Terry.
I, Wayne Keeper.
Thank you, Wayne.
Aye, Randy.
Randy. And aye, Jeff. Thank you very much. We'll now re-enter the numbers and go into closed session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.